Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I will reveal an extremely simple homemade fertilizer recipe with just a few ingredients in the kitchen, but with amazing results helping your orchid recover quickly, with strong roots, shiny green leaves, and especially continuously sprouting new buds. What I have here is a fairly healthy orchid, Cherry Blossom. The leaves are firm and green and the roots look strong, which is always a good sign that the plant is doing well. Now, if you're new to taking care of orchids, don't worry. It might feel a little intimidating at first, but orchids are actually easier to care for than most people think. So let me walk you through a few simple steps that will keep your plant healthy and happy. The first step is watering. Orchids love moisture, but they don't like being drowned. Instead of pouring water directly into the center of the plant, always water gently around the pot. This way, the roots absorb what they need without risk of rot. Another good practice is to use a pot with drainage holes, or even a filter pot. Why? Because when you water, all the extra water will drain out quickly. Orchids don't like sitting in soggy bark. It can cause root rot, and once that happens, the plant struggles to recover. If you place your orchid inside a decorative pot, just remember to empty out any standing water that collects at the bottom. Now, let's take a closer look at this orchid as I water it. Notice how the water flows through and out of the pot. That's exactly what you want to see. Let it drain fully before putting it back in place. Next, I'll bring in a few more orchids from my garden, so we can repeat the same process. Each orchid is a little different. Some have longer roots, some are still growing new leaves, and others might already be preparing to bloom. But no matter what stage they're in, the basic care is the same. Water around the pot, make sure the roots have air, and avoid letting the plant sit in water. Caring for orchids is really about consistency. Check the roots and leaves regularly. Healthy roots should look green or silvery and firm to the touch. The leaves should stay a fresh green color, not too soft, not too wrinkled. If you notice changes, like yellowing leaves or mushy roots, that's your plant telling you something. Now let's prepare our ingredients for a simple, homemade fertilizer that works beautifully for orchids. For this, I want to take you to a small corner of my house where I keep a little garden, and here I've got a lemon tree. Usually you can find fresh lemons at the market, or maybe even ask your neighbor if they have one. But since I grow my own, we'll be using it directly from the tree today. Next, we'll prepare our lemon. Start by cutting it in half with a clean knife. For this recipe, we only need one piece, so you can save the other half for cooking, tea, or even another round of fertilizer later on. Now take the half lemon and squeeze the juice through a fine mesh strainer into a clean container. The strainer is important because we only want the juice, not the seeds or pulp. After we've collected the lemon juice, the next step is to dilute it properly. Orchids are sensitive plants, so we never want to give them pure lemon juice. It would be too strong for the roots. So take a clean container and fill it with about 1 liter of fresh, clean water. This will be the base of our fertilizer mix. Slowly pour the lemon juice into the water, then stir it well until the two blend together completely. You'll notice the water looks just slightly cloudy. That means it's mixed perfectly. Next, let's prepare our second ingredient. Take another clean container, and into it add 1 teaspoon of flour. This will act as a natural source of carbohydrates, giving the orchids a small energy boost to support root growth. After you've added the flour, pour in about 500 milliliters of warm water. The warm temperature helps the flour dissolve more easily, releasing those nutrients into the water. Now stir everything together gently but thoroughly until the mixture becomes smooth and there are no lumps left floating on top. What we're making here is a simple nutrient solution that complements the lemon water we prepared earlier. With all of our ingredients prepared, it's time to put this homemade fertilizer to good use. First, take a clean tissue or a soft piece of cloth. Dip it gently into the lemon water solution we made earlier and let it soak until it's fully wet. This ensures the tissue carries enough of the diluted nutrients. Now carefully Wipe the tissue across the surface of the orchids. Leaves start from the base of the leaf and move outward toward the tip. This not only delivers a light dose of nutrients directly to the leaves, but it also cleans away dust, helping the plant breathe and absorb light more effectively. Take your time with each leaf, making sure you cover both the top and underside. Orchids absorb through their leaves as well as their roots, so this little step can make a big difference in their overall health. Once you finish with one plant, repeat the process with the other orchids we brought in earlier. Each one deserves the same care and attention. It may take a bit of patience, but the result will be healthier, shinier leaves and orchids that are ready to thrive. Every meticulous care, including wiping each leaf, is a method to help the leaves stay healthy. When we put all our heart into each orchid pot in the garden, the plant will receive the best nourishment for sustainable development. When cleaning orchid leaves, always remember to be gentle. The leaves are delicate, and rubbing too hard can damage their surface. A light wipe is all they need. If you notice stubborn spots or dust buildup, instead of scrubbing, just soak your tissue or cloth a little more in the solution and lightly dab at the area. It will come off with patience. Also, don't forget the underside of the leaves. Many people only wipe the top, but the bottom can collect dust and even attract tiny pests. A quick brush underneath keeps the whole leaf healthy. And one more tip, avoid using harsh chemicals or strong leaf shining products. Orchids prefer natural care, and our homemade solution is safe, gentle, and effective. Now, let's move on to preparing our flower solution Blossom. The first thing we need to do is strain the mixture. Take a fine mesh strainer and carefully pour the liquid through it into a clean container. This step is very important because some particles of flour may not dissolve completely. If we skip straining, those little clumps can block the nozzle of our spray bottle. Later on, by filtering, we make sure the solution is smooth and easy to use. Once you've finished straining, grab yourself a clean spray bottle. Make sure it's rinsed well and doesn't have any leftover chemicals inside. Orchids are very sensitive, and even a trace of soap or cleaner could harm them. Now slowly pour the strained solution into the bottle. A small funnel can make this easier and prevent spills. Fill it about 3/4 of the way, leaving a little space at the top so the liquid can move around when you shake it. Give the bottle a gentle shake to mix everything evenly. And now your homemade flower solution is ready to use. This spray will serve two purposes. It lightly nourishes your orchids with carbohydrates from the flower, and at the same time, it helps clean and hydrate the leaves. Think of it as both a gentle fertilizer and a refreshing mist in just a moment. We'll start applying it to the orchids, and I'll share a few tips on how to spray properly so your plants get the maximum benefit without any risk of damage. In addition to the English subtitles, you can use the automatic translation to your language to understand the content more easily. To subtitle in your language, open the video and click the gear icon settings in the automatic translation to select your preferred language. As you can see, this orchid has already bloomed into a truly beautiful flower. The petals are vibrant, the colors are rich, and the bloom is holding strong, which is always a rewarding sight for any grower. When your orchid is in bloom like this, it's a sign that the plant is healthy and happy with the care you've given it. But it's also the stage where the orchid needs a little extra attention. Blooms take a lot of energy from the plant, so keeping up with light feeding, gentle misting, and proper watering is especially important. This is also a perfect time to use our homemade solutions. The leaf wipe we did earlier keeps the plant breathing well, and the flower spray we just prepared will help the plant maintain its strength during the bloom cycle. And don't forget, while the flowers are the highlight, always keep an eye on the leaves and roots too. Now that we've finished spraying, let's not let the rest of our flower solution go to waste. Take the remaining liquid and pour it into a clean watering pot. This way we can use it to nourish the roots directly, just like we did at the beginning of the video. Carefully water around the edges of the pot, never directly into the crown of the orchid. This method allows the roots to drink up the nutrients while preventing water from sitting in the center, which could cause rot. You'll notice how the solution runs through the potting media and drains out below. That's exactly what we want. Orchids love a good soak, but they never like to sit in standing water. Always make sure the extra liquid drains away completely. This root feeding step complements the leaf care we've already done, giving your orchid a balanced boost, both above and below the surface. What country are you watching this video from? Leave a comment to let me know. It's great that we can connect and chat with each other from all over the world. Do you grow any orchids? Comment below so I can build an in-depth care guide video specifically tailored to the characteristics and needs of that orchid. While watering one of the orchids, you might notice something unexpected. A few little pests hiding among the leaves or roots. And I know it's not very pleasant to see, but it's actually quite common when you're growing orchids, especially outdoors or in a garden setting. Pests can come in many forms. Tiny aphids, spider mites, or even small snails. They're attracted to the moisture and the soft parts of the plant. If left unchecked, they can damage the leaves, weaken the roots, and even affect the blooms. The important thing is not to panic. Catching them early makes them easy to handle. The simplest first step is to gently wipe the affected area with a tissue or cotton soaked in our lemon solution. The natural acidity helps discourage many soft-bodied pests without harming the plant. For heavier infestations, you can give the plant a light spray with diluted neem oil or insecticidal soap, but always keep it gentle and avoid spraying directly onto open flowers. Once all of our orchids have been watered and refreshed, the last step is to give the leaves a quick clean. Take a clean tissue or a soft rag, dip it lightly into clean water, and gently wipe across the leaves. This does two things. First, it removes any leftover solution or dust that may have settled during watering. And second, it gives the leaves a nice shine, so they can absorb light more efficiently. Always wipe from the base of the leaf, outward toward the tip. And remember to clean both the top and underside. This little habit keeps the plant looking fresh and healthy, while also helping to prevent pests from settling in. Orchids thrive best when their leaves are clean, their roots are well drained, and their environment is bright and airy. It may feel like a small step, but consistent leaf care makes a big difference in the long-term health of your orchids. While we're cleaning the leaves, I like to take a moment to share with you some of the knowledge I've gathered over the years about orchids. One of the first lessons I learned is that orchids teach patience. Unlike many plants, they don't bloom on demand. You can give them all the care, light, and nutrients they need, but they'll still choose their own time to flower. And when they finally do, it feels all the more rewarding, because you know, it came from steady care and attention. Another thing I've learned is that every orchid has its own personality. Some grow faster, some slower, and some may rest for months before surprising you with new shoots or buds. Don't be discouraged if one plant doesn't look as lively as another. Often, it's just building up its energy for the next stage. And here's a tip many beginners overlook. Orchids communicate through their roots and leaves. Healthy, green roots and firm leaves are a sign of balance. If the roots look dry or shriveled, it's usually asking for more moisture. If the leaves turn yellow, it might be getting too much sun. Paying attention to these small signals, it makes orchid care much easier. Finally, I want to say that orchids aren't just decorative plants. They become part of your daily routine, a living reminder to slow down, observe, and enjoy the little changes nature brings. And there you have it. I've guided you through, step by step, on how to take care of orchids, from the very beginning when we watered gently around the pot to preparing our homemade fertilizer, using simple ingredients like lemon and flour, to carefully cleaning the leaves and keeping an eye out for pests. Every step we took today is a part of what makes orchid care both rewarding and enjoyable. When you grow orchids, you'll notice that the process is as important as the result. It's not just about waiting for those flowers to bloom. It's about creating a healthy environment where the plant feels strong enough to bloom on its own. And that's the real beauty of orchid care. Patience, consistency, and a little bit of creativity go a long way. Remember, orchids are living reminders of balance. They teach us to water just enough, to provide light without burning, to feed them gently, and to give them time. The reward is not only in the flowers you see, but in the calm and joy you feel while caring for them. So if you're just starting your orchid journey, don't be discouraged if progress feels slow. Every new root, every fresh leaf, And eventually, every bloom is a sign that you're on the right track. And if you've been growing orchids for years, maybe today's little homemade recipe or cleaning tips gave you something new to try with your own collection. Thank you for joining me today and sharing in this passion for orchids. If you enjoyed this guide, I'd love to hear from you. Tell me in the comments what orchids you're growing, what challenges you've faced, or even what tips you'd like me to cover in the next video. Until next time, keep nurturing your orchids, keep experimenting with care, and most importantly, keep enjoying the beauty they bring into your life. Because every orchid has a story, and by caring for them, you're becoming part of that story too.